Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
We are fine.
This session of ours, we are going to discuss about the struggle for freedom in Africa on the topic of nationalism and decolonization process. Our case study today, we are going to see one of the forms in which Africans used to struggle for their independence. And this, which we are going to discuss today, is armed struggle. What is armed struggle? Armed struggle can be defined as the way in which Africans applied the actual fightings to struggle for their freedom. They went through the actual guerrilla wars to fight for the independence. And this form of the African decolonization was applied mostly in the colonies where there were large number of the white settlers. We saw here in Tanganyika, we did not use violent means. Sometimes this armed struggle is called violent means for struggle for freedom, is it? Violent means for independence. It means that the Africans applied the violences. They went to fight. They had the wars with the whites. They had the armies. They had the forces. They used the weapon to fight against the whites in order to regain their lost freedom. Are you together? Thank you. Now, we want to see some of those countries which applied this armed struggle. One of them was Angola. Angola was colonized by the Portuguese. Together, Angola. We shall see later on. But you have to know Angola struggled by using armed forces. And their leaders, including Agostinho Neto. Another colony which applied armed struggle was Namibia. Namibia was known as Southwest Africa by that time. Formerly was colonized by the Germans, and later on, after the First World War, was mandated to the Boers of South Africa. So in Namibia, they applied the armed struggle, and their leaders, including somebody was called Samuel Shafshuna Nuoma, and the others were like Herman and Ndimba Taivo, and the family Jerry Retumbu Kozongwis. These were the leaders who fought for the freedom of Namibia. They applied the armed forces together. Another colony was South Africa. In South Africa, the Boers also were there. They applied the armed force. The leaders at the beginning, these people, we shall see later on a bit, they applied the armed force, and their leaders like Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, and the others like Albert Luturi. Another colony was Kenya. In Kenya, they applied the armed struggle. Do you remember the Mau Mau War? Have you ever heard that one? Have you heard Mau Mau? Mzungu arudi Ulaya, Mwafrika apate uhuru. That was called the Mau Mau. Was there in Kenya. Another colony was Algeria. In Algeria also, they applied the armed struggle. Together, they applied the armed struggle. And their leader, who was called the Ahmed Bendela. Not only that one, let's go, another colony was Mozambique. In Mozambique, the Portuguese also were there. They applied the armed struggle, and their leaders, Eduardo Mondlane. We're telling you that one was Samora Moses Machel. Another colony we can mention, they call like Cape Verde. Cape Verde also, they applied the armed struggle under Amilcar Cabral. So, my students, hello, Fofos.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Have you got those examples?
Yes.
Are we clear that area? Let us come to see why armed struggle now. The armed struggle was due to the following reasons. Number one, can you mention? One of you can mention. The reason number one, the first reason, yes, you mentioned, just to mention, I see, mention just one, yes, yes, the nature of the settler colonies, together, nature of the settler colonies. As I have said, in the colonies where there are a large number of white settlers, these whites, we know the whites, the settlers, were the whites who moved from Europe and came and settled permanently in Africa. They established several investments like on agriculture, mining sector, industrial sector. Now, they refused to leave, to grant independence because they wanted to continue exploiting their colonies. Together, in Algeria, there are a large number of the French settlers. In Kenya, the British were so many. In Angola, the Portuguese were so many. In South Africa, the Boers were so many. While in Namibia, also the Boers were so many. It was very difficult. The second reason, why armed struggle? My students. The second reason, second reason, yes? Intensive exploitation. My dear students of the faithful, when we say intensive exploitation, that the whites at the Second World War were intensively exploiting the Africans. They increased exploitation through land alienation. They were taking the care of the Africans. They increased taxation system. This is why we are saying the Africans now are turning. They say enough is enough. Enough is. Let us fight for our freedom. That is why we are saying the intensive exploitation. Apart from that, there are another reasons. Can you mention? Yes, somebody. Ibrahim? Failure of the peace. Good. Failure of the peaceful means. Let me give you the good example here. In South Africa, Africans, in the year 1910, the Boers declared their minority independence. When we say minority, it means the freedom for the few. I repeat again. Minority independence means the freedom of the few people. So the whites declared independence not for the Africans, but for the whites. So the whites were free while the black were not free. What happened now? There were some of the African nationalists in South Africa by that time. In 1910, there were people like Pixley, Kaiser Kaseme. There was another individual in that country, was known as John Langalak Dube, and somebody was called Saul Plage. These few people met in the year 1912, and it was on April. They sat down and asked themselves to form the political party which could help them to fight for their freedom. And that day when they met, and is where, do you know our national anthem? Do you know? Yes. Do you know? Yes. We do sing. Can you try to sing it in one verse? Mungu, Mungu, ibariki Africa, is it? So this national anthem which we are singing here in Tanzania was the first sang on that day of 8th April 1912, and it was composed by the South African Enoch Sentonga, the one who composed this song. And also Nkosi Sikelel Africa, God bless Africa, and they sing Nkosi Sikelel Africa. The same reason like the way we are singing here in Tanzania. So they tried to struggle for freedom since that day by using peaceful way, but they failed. They told the whites, please and please give us freedom. The whites never listened. They told, give us freedom to speak, give us freedom to participate in political affairs, give our land, but the whites never listened. They struggled until when we reached in the year 1962, the new young African nationalists in South Africa said now is enough to use peaceful way. It has failed. Let us change. Is where you see Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Albert Lutuli, Robert Sobukwe introduced the armed struggle. Mandela came with a military force which was called the Umkhonto we Sizwe. Umkhonto we Sizwe means the spear of the nation. Have you ever seen there are some t-shirts with the hand like this one and holding the spear? Have you ever seen it? That is the logo of the freedom fighters of the Umkhonto we Sizwe, the spear of the nation. Do you get me, my friends? Another reason for the armed struggle. Yes, there are Basuba.
Association of the African Nationalists.
Assassinations, thank you very much. The assassinations of the African nationalists. The assassinations of the African what? Nationalists. Together from force. Yes. Assassination. What do you say here? Why Africans came to change and use armed struggle is where the colonial governments were brutally killing the African nationalists. These people, we call them Wazungu, were so brutal, were heartless. They killed the Africans who were struggling for freedom. Will you be happy when you see your father is killed by whites? No, is it? Come and see. See, on the 21st March of 1960, the Boers in South Africa killed the innocent civilians on the event which is called the Sharpeville Massacre. We shall come to see the Sharpeville Massacre. Say Sharpeville Massacre. And they ask me, what is that, sir? That was an event whereby the innocent South Africans were killed by the police when they were struggling for freedom. They were struggling to oppose working with the pass law. In South Africa, the Boers introduced the pass books. When you need to go to the market or you need to go to the town, you have to walk with the pass book to show why are you going to town. Africans were not allowed even to stay in towns. Do you see that? Yes. This is why we are saying, we are telling to each other. They killed them. They did not kill only that one. They killed the students at Soweto, in Southwest. Have you ever seen there is a movie called Sarafina? Have you watched it? Yes. That movie is telling the students who conducted the strikes, the rebels, they were there demonstrating to tell the government to stop teaching us by using Afrikaner language. But the Boers police killed these innocent students. They were killed there. They were assassinated, and it was on the 16th June 1976. They killed there. Will you be happy to see your fellow students are killed? No. That is why we say these people decided to change and use armed struggle because the freedom fighters were killed. Not only those one, even the Portuguese killed the Mozambican nationalist who was called the Eduardo Mondlane. Eduardo Mondlane was there in that slum. Here, may students take this point. Be careful with the people who come to give you a gift. They brought the letter, the parcel from Mozambique, but the Portuguese put the bomb. When Eduardo Mondlane received that parcel and the bomb exploded, then the life of Eduardo Mondlane was no more. The assassination. Not only that one, even the British in Kenya, they killed me. They killed Leader Kimathi. They killed me. The freedom fighters there. That's what we are saying. And the struggle. Also, the British in Southern Rhodesia killed somebody who was called Herbert Chitepo. They murdered him. They killed him. This is what we are saying. Another reason. Yes? Your name is? Frederick. Okay? Influence from the external countries. Fofos. Hello, Fofos? The influence from the external what? Countries. There are these countries from external who supported the African countries and gave them the moral and material support. China, Cuba, USSR gave support these Africans to fight for their freedom by using armed struggle. Clear? By using armed struggle. And the last point, please. Mention the last reason. The last reason, banning of the political activities. This is the last one. Banning of the political activism. The colonial governments banned the political activism or activities. They did not allow the Africans to participate in political matters. Those who dared were arrested and imprisoned. Together, were arrested and imprisoned. And another, when we are saying this one, you can finalize the last point, which was imprisonment, is it? Of the African nationalists. The African nationalists were jailed. Example, men who were imprisoned. Who was imprisoned by that time? Nelson Mandela, is it? They jailed him. They put him to stay 27 years in prison. That is why Africans fought for their freedom by using armed struggle. Together, they fought for their freedom by using armed struggle. Armed struggle. Why armed struggle? Those are the factors for the armed struggle in Africa. We gained our independence. The whites did not want to give us. That is why we fought. We fought because the whites did not want to give us what? Did not want to give us? Thank you very much. Have a nice session. God bless you.